Welcome to the Slay Your Day Show with Avi Vatsa. All right, welcome to the Slay the Day Show, episode 2. I am your host, Avi V, and today we're going to talk about how to find the perfect career for you with the legend, the man himself, Mr. Bernard Percy. It's my honor to introduce you to my mentor, my teacher, who's helped me find direction and purpose in my life. I've not yet seen another man who makes you feel on top of the world every time you speak to him. Mr. Bernard Percy is truly a legend. Over 50 years of experience in the education and communication fields in both the public and private sectors, including being the editor in chief and co founder of the Converge magazine from 1998 to 2003. The Converge magazine is a multi-award winning national magazine on education and technology. He's also the founder and president of Career Solutions, an educational and career consulting organization that delivers the Foundations of Brilliance program, helping people make the right choice for their career and education path. He is also the author of 9 books, including Your Right Career, How to Make the Right Choice for Your Education and Career Path, and several other books on parenting and being a dad. So please give a big welcome to Mr. Bernard Percy. Hey, Bernard.
I want to meet this man, Avi. He sounds great. God.
Well, he is great.
I meet him every day. I love
it. Well, I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad everybody else can meet you too, because this is going to be awesome. All right, so Bernard, we're having this whole thing about the Great Resignation and people, trying to find the right career path for them. There's a whole thing happening. Are you aware about that?
I am aware of it, and I know it's a real issue with so many people. And even before the Great Resignation, it was a great issue as well, all over the world. So I'm very aware of that.
All right. Well, what do you think about it?
There are 3 kinds of people in the world. Those who really know what they want to do and accomplish for their education and career path, and they have certainty on it. Then there's a group that goes, I think I know, but I'm not sure. Maybe this is the right one. Let me see. Maybe it's right. And the third is, I have no idea what I really want to do. What's the career path or education path that's right for me? And they settle and they try different things and they look at different things and, but they're searching because everybody knows that they want to be happy and successful. They all do. And how can you be happy and successful without understanding the true foundation on how to make the right choice for your career and education path? And that's what the program is all about, building the right foundation.
That's amazing. That's so true, man. So before we get into a little bit more of the Great Resignation, tell us a little bit about what you do and what the Foundations of Brilliance program really is.
Well, the Foundations of Brilliance program, as I mentioned briefly, really helps individuals build the foundation on which to make the right decision, to know what's your ideal scene. This is the career path that's right for me. And there are 3 factors, which maybe we'll go into later on in the interview, that you must know and understand about yourself to know you're making the perfect decision, as Avi said earlier, for your career or education path. Otherwise, you're guessing, and maybe many people maybe find it. Most haven't. And they kind of live a life of, I won't say mediocrity, but a life of being settled. Okay, all right, it's okay. What I'm doing is okay, but it's not something that brings that passion and that joy and that sense of success and self-respect that we all want, because you've not understood what the right foundation is on which to make that decision.
Right. Absolutely. And that is very fundamental. And that's what we want to go into. So basically what's happening, obviously it used to happen before as well, but now there's a general consciousness and there's a bigger awareness about this issue where a lot of the people who are working in 9-to-5 jobs and they started questioning themselves about what are they really doing working for a company that produces junk food. And they started thinking, like, what is the purpose of this company? Like, is my life gonna just be helping a company do bad things in this world? And so a lot of people started asking those kind of questions, like, does the company's culture and does the company's mission and vision and values align with my personal purpose? What is my personal purpose? And so people, and because of these questions, there's a whole Harvard study going on about this as well, and they've come up with the same thing. Like, you got to find your purpose, and you got to find if your purpose actually aligns with the company's purpose, right? And that's what Harvard says, that you need to find your purpose. And that is kind of true, but do you think it's only finding your purpose?
You see, that's the wrong viewpoint. There are like 200,000 books on the subject of purpose. Our purpose is vital to know, and it's really important. But it's only one of three things to know about yourself to really be able to contribute to the company. But what you said is very good. Is the corporate culture that you're going into one that you really want to, because it aligns to you, your viewpoint, what you feel is important? Okay. And I quit a couple of jobs because I realized the corporate culture was just not where I wanted to be. And I didn't want to settle. And I didn't want to have to every morning wake up and go, why am I working in this place? You get the money, which you need, and I understand that. And so what you want to do is really understand these three things I mentioned briefly earlier, and many people say, if I only knew my purpose, life would be so great. And yeah, it's a major thing. Absolutely. It could really impel you and help you move forward with a lot of enthusiasm. I know from my own experience, I work with over maybe 1,500 people individually, and helping them understand what's the right path to take for their career. Okay. And purpose is key and important, but it's not the only thing. And that's what's been missing from so many subjects about careers. My company, Career Solutions, we don't help you understand how to build a career. There are many other organizations that help you do that. We help you build the right foundation on which to decide what is the right career. Okay. And I could tell you my personal story about that. And it's a good story, And so,
Yeah, I would love.
you want me to should I tell you the story?
Please do.
Good. You all hear my New York, Brooklyn accent now. I love it. Okay.
I love it.
To me, Brooklyn is Mecca. Okay. I love being in Brooklyn. It's my home
All right.
where I grew up. I left it for about 40 years and then came back to it, it's about 3-4 years ago. And I love being here. When I was going to college, university, I had no idea what I wanted to study. None, and so I tried different things, and I tried psychology. No, that didn't work. I thought maybe I'd become a social worker. That didn't work. It's always about helping, right? That's always that. I knew that about myself. I always wanted to be in a position where I could help others, but I had no idea what that was. And so finally, I looked at the idea of being a teacher. And I said, wait a minute, now teacher may be okay, but there are three components that we have to know: talent, personality, and purpose. Now, I have no idea if I had the talent to be a teacher. I mean, I work with students. I majored in education in college when I decided to become a teacher, right? But I didn't know if I had the talent. I never knew that. Secondly, my purpose. I have no idea what the purpose was for me that aligned to being a teacher. I really didn't. I didn't even think about it too much. It's just, well, it's a job. Maybe I could do that. But the only reason I made my decision to be a teacher was my personality, my attitude, my interests, what I valued and so on. And I looked at the life of a teacher, the lifestyle. I said, I think I like the lifestyle. You get out of school at 3:00. You have Christmas and Easter vacations, plenty of time for myself. Summer vacations, 2 months. I like kids, and I knew that I enjoy working with children. That was an important component. But I had no idea if I could really be successful at it because I didn't know my talents or understand the importance of knowing that and my purpose. Well, luckily for me, I found out I did have the talent to be a teacher. I was the most popular teacher in school. Everybody wanted me, Oh, you got Mr. Percy. You're so lucky, because I loved it, right? And then I understood what my purpose was, the reason for which something is done or made or exists. What's the reason I want to be a teacher? And it took me a while to figure out what that general concept was. But when I did, I was like, as we say in Australia, I've been to Australia several times, over the moon. That's it. Okay. And I understand the value and the importance of purpose. And I knew I had the talent to be a teacher because of my success. And I certainly had the personality, and I was kind of the rebel in my school. I would not follow certain ideas because it didn't seem right to me. But I was getting such good results, nobody bothered me. He's successful, he's doing well, leave him alone. He's a good man. So that's it. But again, I went to college not knowing what I wanted to do. And how many people end up majoring in a subject in college and later on in their career have done nothing that relates to what they majored in, okay, what they studied. Okay, there's a large percentage. The numbers I hear vary, but it is a large percentage of people who basically wasted 4 years, 2.5 years, or if they went to college. Now, should you even go to college? Is that really the thing that's the right thing for you to do? I don't have any viewpoint that you must attend college. Okay, but if you want to be a doctor, you better attend college. Okay, so those are the things to think with. And when I made that decision to be a teacher, I really loved it. And after 12, 14 years, I realized it was time to move on to another career path. But I knew, let me align what I'm doing in a new career path in my talent, my personality, my purpose. It helped me really look at the right answer. So there's a long answer to your question. And there you go. Okay. I don't hear you, Avi.
Thank you so much. I was saying that's really powerful. That was awesome. What a story. And that's so true with everybody. A lot of my friends, even myself, we go through life. We spend a fortune going to college, to university. We pursue education that we are not interested in, we don't like, but just because society demands it, or our parents force us to do it. But sometimes we don't even do that, and sometimes we're rebelling without a cause. We're like, oh, we won't study, but there's no purpose in mind. So it's kind of like you're drifting away, drifting through life without any purpose or actual plan or career path in mind you know
Yeah, I know. When I was teaching, there was a mandate. You must write the purpose of every lesson on the chalkboard, right? We have math lessons, social studies. So you write the purpose, but they forget the other part of it, which you mentioned. You're so brilliant. Avi, you're one of the most brilliant people I've ever met. I mean that. And so the other part they forget about, do you have the agreement of your students to do that lesson? Or is it kind of forced on them and they do it because it's supposed to and they got to get a good grade and they want to, graduate or whatever it is? But do you have their true agreement for what they're doing in school? Because if you don't, you kind of have an enforced reality. And how many people listening to this podcast, took subjects because they were supposed to and it was needed for graduation. And all right, I'll do it. Maybe even got a good grade. Students are judged so often by how good a memory they have. They take a test, they get a good grade, and they go, what a good student, right? Now, how many of you ever crammed for a final or a test? Oh, I got to study, I got to get a good mark. And you get a good mark on that test, and people go, how great. But what do you remember 3 days later? Okay. I mean, forget about it. That's what happens. You forget about it, right? But when you really know the right principles of study and learning, and that includes having that purpose and understanding what the purpose is and then agreeing with it, wow, that is a major factor. And it may take time. I'm not saying it's always simple and easy, but unless you have those two factors in your life, well, then you're not going to be as successful and happy and have the self-respect that you're looking for in your life.
That is so true. Yeah, and it goes the same for like not just students, right? Even people who are in the workforce. You take a job. Sometimes people work 20 years of their life and they realize that this is not what they wanted to do. This was not what they wanted to give 20 years of their life for. And then they're at that stage of life and now they're feeling the midlife crisis, or they're depressed or dissatisfied, and generally unhappy. And so how can we, like, how, if someone's listening to this, whether they're a student trying to find their ideal career path, or they're already in the workforce, or doing probably their own business, or even retired for that matter. There's a lot of people out there, who playing the second innings, as we call it in India, the new beginning, after the new phase of life. How do you actually go about, because there's a lot of different opinions. They say, find your passion, do what you love to do. But I've done all of that, and it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough.
You
So,
know,
mhm,
I love to sing. I have a passion for singing.
mhm.
Hey, I should become a professional singer. Well, if you heard me sing, chances are very good after half a minute you'll walk out of the room, because I don't have the talent for it. I may have a purpose for singing and I have the personality to get out there in front of a group, but the talent isn't there. Okay. And in a job that we're doing, you mentioned a really important thing that reminded me. Within a company, if you're an owner of a company or a boss, who's the best employee? And it's not just somebody who agrees with the purpose, which is important and it's vital. I agree with you. But do they have the talent and the personality for the job they're doing? And when you find somebody that has those three factors for whatever the job is, it could be an accountant, it could be a janitor, a custodian, you know, then you have an employee who's going to be the employee that you want. And one of the things to understand when you're hiring somebody is, do they have a sense of purpose that agrees with our purpose for the company, which is very vital, which you brought up. Okay. Secondly, do they have the personality for the job they want? Don't ask me to become an accountant to sit there and work with numbers all day. I'd go crazy. Other people love it. Some people really enjoy doing that. Great. Okay. And then my talents are not so much administrative as it is working with people and helping people. So I'm more of a people helper person than I am an administrator or, things like that. And so within an organization, to the extent that you, as an owner, can evaluate your employees and you go, okay, this is the best position for them. Okay. Now, sometimes there's a necessity just to get somebody in a certain job, which I understand, and you as an employee have to earn the money, and I have no choice. And here's good money. Okay. And I'm not saying that's not important. It is, but you can't be happy, successful to the extent you want unless you understand your talent, personality, and purposes, and make all the money you can that aligns to that.
Exactly, and that works. I mean, I've seen it for myself. I think there's. Can you tell us about those different kinds of people? Like, I was the kind of person that I had a passion for doing, a purpose for doing a lot of things, and I have talents for doing a lot of things. So I wanted to do a lot of things, and I just couldn't figure out exactly which one to do, because I wanted to do so many things. And there's a lot of people, they think they want to do so many things in life. And do you think that's right or wrong? Should they stick to one thing, or how do they like decide which one is the right one?
You know, many people I work with had that problem that you talked about, including Avi Vatsa. He's had this problem. He's so good, so talented in so many areas. He has so many interests and passions. What's the right choice? Because I know I could be successful or good at that, but it wasn't until Avi and other people I work with find their purpose statement. It's a statement of what you're really trying to do, what you want to accomplish, just the reasons for doing something. Okay. There's one young man, I tell this story a lot because it's an example of what can occur. He was a professional rugby player, and he does the program, the Foundations of Brilliance program. And he knew his talent pretty well, which many people don't. I'll bet the majority of people listening to this podcast have never sat down and really looked at what their talents are. And there's a way of knowing how to find what your talents are that isn't often understood, which we now have in that program, the Foundations of Brilliance. And so he knew his talents. He was creative, and he was good at art and so on. And his personality, his attitude, his interests, what he loved to do and so on. And he had a sense of what that was. But he didn't have a purpose, a reason for doing things. So he became a professional rugby player. And he had signed a contract to play in France. He's from Australia. But when he found his statement of purpose, everything changed. Now he can align his talent and personality. This is the right thing for me to do. And so he quit playing rugby and became a fashion designer. His name is Daniel Patrick. He's now known internationally for his fashions. Okay. And he has a style that's not, Avi may wear his style. It's not my style, my age.
He's awesome.
Yeah. But the point is, he was able to align all three of those things. Now, I got a message from somebody years ago saying, "Thank you for helping to change my life." He said, "You didn't make it easier. In fact, it became more difficult. It's hard work to be successful, but it became so much more interesting." And I smiled. What a great statement. Okay. And because they know it's the right thing for them to be doing. I love teaching. There are moments, obviously, but basically I love teaching, right? And but I was ready to move on to something else that better aligned to my purpose, personality, and talents. And I didn't leave behind teaching. I left behind classroom teaching, but I'm an educator, and there are different ways of doing that. You mentioned the books I've written on parenting, on education, okay, being the editor-in-chief of the national magazine on education and technology. So I kind of know the area for me to focus on. I'm not guessing. I'm not going, which way is the wind blowing today? Oh, maybe I'll try that. Oh, no, that didn't work. Maybe I'll do that. Well, you understand the foundation to make the right choice. And that is so important and so missing from the lives of so many people. And they settle for a life of settling, not enthusiasm and passion and joy and contribution.
Absolutely. That's so true. So just to recap so far, so we went over the Great Resignation, and how the Harvard study that just came out, like an article in Harvard Review, was saying that you need to find your purpose and then align it with the purpose of your job. That's fair, we said, but you say that that's not enough, because the three things, you need three things to make that choice for your right career, which is your talents, your personality, and your purpose. And then you make the right choice. And then what do you do once you made the choice?
Well, now it's up to you. Okay, you have to know you put together a plan of action. Okay, what can I do now to become successful in this career choice that I know is the right one for me, based on those three factors of talent, personality, and purpose? Well,
Exactly. Okay. And then you make that plan, and then you implement that plan. Okay.
Yeah, and it could be in different areas. You asked me, should people just do one thing or have several different things they focus on? It depends on you. Every 5 to 7 years, I recreate my life, ever since I left teaching. Now, it's always been in education, and either as a writer or as an educator or doing the Foundations of Brilliance program. But I knew what I wanted to do, what the area was. And sometimes I messed up, and I realized what was missing. One time I was developing training programs, marketing materials, and documentation for high-tech companies like Hewlett-Packard. And I was good at it, and making really good money, but so unhappy. I didn't even tell people what I did for a living. Not that it was unethical or a real, stupid thing to be doing, but it just wasn't me. And boy, now everybody knows what I do. I'll just I walk down the street, hey, guess what? Foundations of Brilliance. I can help you as a parent. So I focused on two basic areas in my professional life. One is education, and especially now for the last, close to 15, 20 years, this Foundations of Brilliance program, helping people understand what's the right career path, and then working in improving the quality of education for children. And then the other is parenting. You know, to me, the foundation of any culture is the family. And I really believe that. When I do a seminar, I start out by saying, I'll never say I'm the best dad in the world, but I know no one better. And you might disagree with me, which you should. Okay, you might be as good as me, but not better. And my daughters insisted I write a book about parenting, being a great parent. Now, if your daughters say you should write a book about being a parent, you got to be good. And I was better than good. Okay. And I'm very proud of how my three daughters are now adults have turned out. Okay.
That's
Because,
awesome.
yeah, it is so awesome. I mean, there is such a joyful pride I have in all of my daughters, and they're all doing different things. But to the extent it aligns their talent, personality, and purpose, they're happy and they're doing really great. And they work hard, okay? But they know what they want to do and the career path they want to take.
That's great. That's amazing. So, a lot of people, there's a few motivational coaches out there that they say that, uh, you got to focus on making the money. There's actually two different schools of thought now. The old school of thought was that you got to focus on your passion, do what makes you happy, and that's going to be the, main thing about your life. Now there's a new school of thought, which is like, to hell with happiness right now, focus on money, make enough money, and whoever tells you making money is bad, they're wrong, and money can actually buy happiness. So you brought up the Hewlett Packard experience where you were working with this company making a lot of money, but you were not happy. So do you think there's any truth in the statement that make a lot of money first and then focus on what you love to do?
Great question, Abby. The answer is yes and no. Okay. See, it depends on your personality, and if you want to, when I became a teacher, one of the reasons I decided on being a teacher, I knew I'd never be a billionaire or a millionaire being a classroom teacher, but I just wanted to be able to support the lifestyle that I wanted. Okay. And it didn't involve flying in private jets and things like that. Okay. So I was never money motivated. I was always motivated. How can I help another individual, whether students or parents or whatever? Okay. And so it's following that career path that's the right one for you. And money could be a factor. Like if you have four choices that align to your talent, personality, and purpose, but one of the things that will motivate you is, this has the greatest potential for making a lot of money, go for it. I mean, I'm absolutely, I have no difficulty with that. Kidding, Now I have a friend, Avi Vatsa, who said, I should charge more money for what I do. Right. But I wish I were more money motivated, to be honest with you. I do okay, but it's not like at the top of my mind. It's, well, what can I do to create something that's going to help people feel better about themselves, to gain that self-respect we all want, to have a sense of passion and joy in creating their life. And I used to envy people like that until I found my own. Okay, look, they're so happy doing what they're doing and living a lifestyle that they want. I love that.
Right. So exactly. So then obviously if it's part of your purpose to have a ton of money, become a millionaire or a billionaire, then that's good. Go for it.
No,
right?
not purpose. It's personality. Now,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, yeah, obviously the decision on the career. Do I have the potential to make the level of income I want? That's one of the things to consider when you're doing a job. Absolutely. With a great resignation, a lot of people, want to change their jobs because they're not making good money at what they're doing. And there are different potentials out there. Okay. And so how do you make that choice? And that's the thing that I've been driven by over the last 20, 25 years.
Awesome. But then if it's not part of your personality, and it is okay if it's not part of your personality to want a lot of money, like, is it bad to not want a lot of money?
Well, no, not at all. Come on.
Somebody everybody wants a lot of money, so it's almost like an unethical thing now.
I mean, how important is it to earn a lot of money? How many people? All right, there's a. I read something that was this gentleman who graduated. I think it was Princeton University or Yale. Yale, I think it was Yale. Okay, and 20 years after he graduated, they had a reunion of people who in the graduating class. And in this article that he wrote, and he had people who were the CEOs of companies who were very successful, apparently successful at what they were doing. And he said 70 to 80% of the people were unhappy. They made a lot of money. Okay. They had positions of status, but they weren't really happy with the direction of their career path. They're doing it. Okay. They're doing it because it helped to bring in the income they want, the level of income that was important. They maybe built a successful company, but that wasn't what was really motivating them. And so that's a decision you have to make. And that's a judgment call. Hey, make all the money you can do what you love to do and you have the talent for it, personality and purpose. What personality is love, go for it. And if you can I made a lot of money. The last year I was a consultant with this training programs, marketing materials, and so on. I was so miserable every day. Why am I doing this? I did a good job. I was being professional. They hired me. I would do the best job I could. But it wasn't the essence of who I am and what really makes me feel I'm making a real difference in this world, which for me was important. And what's the legacy that you leave? What's it? And to many people, that's so important. Other people may not even look at that. Just give me the money so I can support my family, which is not horrible, not bad, not wrong. Okay. But again, we're talking about quality of life. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. This is really, really important. Okay. So again, so talent, you find your talents and then you find your personality, like what you like and what you don't, and then your purpose. And then you combine it all to see what's the ideal career path. And so do you think a person who goes through this process probably does your Foundations of Brilliance program, would they be in a happier, more energetic, more motivated, more focused state of mind versus a person who doesn't know their ideal career path?
Yes, when they finish the program, they are. Okay. But then they went out into the world and they had the barriers and the other things that came and interfered with the direction they want to go in. And some have given up. I'm not going to say everybody who's done the program, they know what they want to do. What a great thing to have that knowledge. And they make steps towards it. But sometimes the world hits them on the head and they kind of go, That's why I was at a conference one time. And I was the editor-in-chief of the magazine. I attended many conferences, right? And somebody had a great comment. He said, why go to these conferences? You get motivated, you get inspired by the speakers. Then you go back to work in the real world and all the problems and the difficulties hit you. Ooh. So what's the value? And somebody came up with a great answer. He said, that's why you need an inspiration shower. Okay. So that you rekindle that inspiration that you have, and that's one of the important things to do because you're going to find barriers and difficulties, right? And so one of the things we're looking at doing is helping you understand, the purpose statement, especially when you really know that and just relook at your statement of purpose, it can inject that energy that you want and need for your career to be happy and successful. Okay. And so that's what we do.
Exactly, and that's absolutely right. I'm glad you brought that up. I just want to share my experience about that. It's been 3 years since I did your program. Around this time, I think it was 2019 when COVID had just started. When you delivered the program to me, and the thing is, everything that I wrote down in that path, what we made the action plan after finding the purpose, everything started coming true, and my motivation, my energy, my focus was so much more. But in the last 3 years, I've had to face the most horrendous, horrible, insurmountable barriers, suppression, and challenges that I've never ever faced in my life. And because I had that, talents, personality, purpose, and the program that we did, I could always go back to it and refocus myself. I could, there's a lot that happens when the world is kind of going against you and everything looks dark. You know, you need you want to like take a step back sometimes, and just get everything into perspective. And this document, I always go back to that document that we, that plan. And sometimes we lose our way, like going through life, we're on this path we've set for ourselves. There's distractions, there's, you know stuff happens. We do some stuff that violates what our actual purpose is, what our path is. So I understand what you were saying, that a lot of people, some people who do the program, they have barriers and stuff, and they sometimes don't make it. But if they actually just went back, like I did, you keep getting back on the path. So you get kicked down, but you have this stable document to go back to and restart. You see, so so that you're always true to yourself, to that career path. Does that make sense?
No, it makes dollars. More than sense, okay? You really, I mean, that's really great. You reminded me, sometimes somebody knows what they want to do, but they're missing certain, understandings. Okay. One young man always wanted to be a pilot, but he could never get around to doing it. He ended up becoming an ambulance driver and he would do different jobs, right? He did the program and he completed it, understood his purpose. When he understood his purpose, what a difference. And he knew his talent and he knew his personality. He loved flying for a number of reasons, right? So about 2 years after he completes the program, he sends me an email with 2 words: thank you. And then in the email is a photo of him standing by a plane. He became a professional pilot, where before he couldn't do it. He kept running into barriers that stopped him and so on. And so when you know and understand those 3 factors, we repeated many times: your talent, personality, and purpose or purposes. That's great. Now, the purpose that we come up with, it's very important to know this. It's not necessarily a purpose in life. That's a whole different subject, okay? But it's a purpose statement that will help direct future activities and actions in terms of your career. And there's a purpose that I have professionally that I want, and it affects my career decisions and my educational choices and so on. And so that's what the purpose is. It's the reason for which something is done or made and exists, right? The reason. If I say I want to be a teacher, that's not a reason. That's a job title. But what's the reason? To motivate, inspire children and so on, right? And so the importance is to understand that what you want to do is really align what you're doing to those 3 factors, okay? And come back to it as you need. And it may help you really finally accomplish what you know you want to do. Some people know their dream, right? And good, but they're not able to make it happen. Okay. And so I don't necessarily, in my consultations or the people I've trained all over the world, we've been trained in many countries, including India, okay, including Australia, and all over the place, right? It's like you make that decision that you really want to do and really know what it is. And I see so many people who are miserable in their life, and then of course they take it out on their child, right? And, many people I come with who come to my consultation with me or some of the consultants I've trained, they have a failed purpose and they wanted to be an artist, but they were told, "Oh, you can't make any money being an artist. Don't do that," right? Well, after doing the program, they desire to do art was rekindled. Okay, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm never going to say that. But it'll be so much better in terms of your own quality of life when you're pursuing your real dream.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, finding your purpose or your the right career path or the action plan is just the first step. Determination, grit, persistence, all of that hard work is the next step. So a lot of people, if they, it's hard for them to digest that, it's their bad, I guess. But that does, yeah, exactly.
A
But
lot of
a lot
people, I
Mhm.
just want to say, you reminded me before that thought left my mind. A lot of people say, well, I know my purpose, right? Well, there are three factors that have to be involved, I found, for you to come up with the right statement of purpose. And unless these three factors in terms of the statement of purpose are present, it's not the right one, okay? Because it isn't. One of them is, have you, um, do you have an enthusiasm? And when it comes to understanding your purpose, do you go, yes, that's it? You know, I say 60% of the people will cry when they find that statement of purpose. Others will sit there with a, wow, it impacts them, it impinges on them. So, one of the criteria, if you have that right statement, is do you really have that being impelled and that motivation? I was delivering the program in Hungary, and there's this young woman says, I know my purpose is to help people understand the potential so they can have great success. And it sounded very nice, but there was no passion because she didn't state it the way it was right for her to state it. See, there's a way that's unique for you. No two people, of all the people I worked with, have ever stated their purposes the same way. The concepts have been similar. And so this one woman in Hungary was a poet. So why don't you say that same thing more poetically? How would you state that, right? She came back 5 minutes later, tears streaming down her face. I found it. I know what it is. And she, yeah, what is it? What is it? I want to help people spread their wings so they can reach the stars. You see the same concept, but the wording has to be very specific to you. And if it doesn't impel you, and if it doesn't involve how you want to help someone, then you don't have the right statement of purpose.
That
Okay.
is so beautiful. Wow. Wow. All right, and that brings me to the last thing. What I've noticed is that this program and this approach is so diametrically opposed to what the current career counseling industry. When you go to a career counselor in your high school or after college, or between high school and college, or even during your career, sometimes you meet with a career counselor or mentor who and what they do. Their approach is quite different. It's very subject related. Like they'll see your scores in your grades in your exams, they'll make you do this personality tests and all sorts of stuff, and based on your scores and your aptitude, they'll kind of like evaluate for you, like this is what you should do. Is that the right approach according to you?
You're so brilliant. Absolutely not. Okay.
No.
In the program, what we strive to accomplish is to help you observe the truth for yourself. I never tell somebody what they should do. I never tell them this is the right path for you. That's not for me to say. It's for them to determine themselves. And when we have the right foundation, you can honestly determine for yourself. And that's where the passion comes in. You're right. You have all these different tests they give you, and they say, well, you have the talent to become a great athlete or whatever, right? But, you know, I know someone who's one of the most talented people, my wife. I'll tell you my wife, okay? When we look at talent, personality, and purpose, she's an incredible singer and performer. She would get standing ovations. She had major people in the music industry, entertainment industry who wanted to work with her because the talent was there. She has a purpose statement that really aligns to becoming a singer or an entertainer. It's a beautiful statement. But her personality did not align to that lifestyle of being a singer. And there are other things she wanted to do, how she wanted to help other people. And that became paramount in her life. And she found some programs where she knows this is the best way to help people. And she's devoted her life to doing that. But she could have been a huge star. This is her husband speaking, but many of you many people who've heard it hear me go, yeah, Bernard, yes. Then they watch and hear my wife and they go, you're absolutely right. But you see, so, you may know your talent, your personality and purpose, but now your personality tells you what do you value, what's important to you. And that's part of the decision-making process that you have to do. And Again, all things improve on a gradient. But when you're impelled, you want to help other people, and you can clearly state what you want to do. Those are the three criteria that I accept for your statement of purpose. I don't try to tell them what their purpose is, but you look at them, and if they feel, yes, this impels me. I remember when I found my clear statement. It was one of the greatest moments of my life. That's it. No wonder, to answer some questions I had about why I was successful and why I was interested in different things, right? And part of my purpose has to do with being on the communication lines of the world with truth. And then what I want to do is help people become happier, more successful, but inspire them to action. I said, no wonder I did that. No wonder that was important to me. When I was 18 years old, Avi, I applied for a job, and I was so excited about the job. Now, the job had nothing to do with what I love to do or my talents or anything else. It was being a janitor cleaning toilets for the summer. This is not my ideal job. Okay, maybe some people may enjoy creating a clean space, and they know that's an important job to do, which is great. It wasn't me. Okay, but it aligns to where the job was at. It was at the airport in New York City. Well, what are they doing at the airport? Getting on the communication lines of the world. My favorite building to go to in New York City was the United Nations building. I would sit in the General Assembly Hall sometimes and just look at all the flags and go, I want to be involved where I can go around to these different places. And now I've traveled over 2 million miles, been to 43 countries, focusing on some countries, but to 43 total countries. But pursuing that dream, that purpose that I had. Okay. And I realized, why I was so intrigued with working at the airport. Why the decisions I made were so aligned to what I wanted to do. With my work as a teacher, I've written 9 books. That's another way to get in the communication lines of the world, and to help people. And I include my students in all my books, not all my books, but in many of my books, where their work and what they did when they were in my class and so on. So
That's great. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, I'm just saying, so you have to make those choices, and you have to know that right statement of purpose. And again, it's not, well, I want to help people do better. Great. Nothing wrong with that. But is that the way to communicate it? I want to help people understand the potential so they can be successful. Nice statement, but they weren't, yes. It was like,
Right.
no.
There's a lot to it. I mean, there's a lot of intricacies. That's why your company, I think, provides a certification and trains other counselors to deliver the program, right? So obviously, this is the basic theory of that, if someone's trying to find their purpose in life or their passion or is not happy in their career or doesn't know what they want to do, it's probably because they're focusing on the wrong thing. They need to focus on talents, personality, purpose, and then where all three of them converge and align, that's the right career choice. But obviously, finding those talents, those personality and purpose, I wouldn't think someone could just do it offhand. They would probably have to contact your organization and do the Foundations of Brilliance program. And like you said, there's consultants in I think almost 30 countries now. So wherever you are, if you go to careersolutions.biz, that is careersolutions.biz, you could fill out the contact form, and Bernard's company Career Solutions could get back to you on that. You could also read Bernard's book. It's on Amazon. It's called Your Right Career.
I just happen to have a copy right here to show people.
Awesome.
And it's right. It's available on Amazon. I don't know if you can see the whole thing, but there
Yep.
you go.
It's great. I love this book. It's a really, really good book. And Bernard has a ton of other books on parenting, on being a dad, raising kids. So yeah, you can learn more about Bernard on Amazon or careersolutions.biz. And I hope you got something really good and real value from this episode, because finding the right career path and the perfect career option for your life is very important, and a lot of people struggle with it. I know I did. So I hope this could help, and see you next time.
Avi, thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you so much, Bernard. It was a pleasure talking to you and having you on this show.
Thank you, Avi.
All right. If you like this show, like, comment, and subscribe to. You can see it on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, IG, and Apple Music, Spotify. And do share the word. This is awesome. We'll see you next Wednesday, same time. The Slay Your Day Show with Avi Vatsa.